Season 3, Episode 16 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing The Cottage, written by Sandy Rustin and directed by Jason Alexander, running at the Helen Hayes Theater at 240 West 44th Street in New York City through October 29th.
Do you ever wonder what would have happened had I met you first?
Oh, I don't need to wonder, I know.
Oh, good, I'm so curious, tell me.
We would have married.
I knew it. If we'd married, we'd be the picture of happiness.
Of course, darling. The wife always knows.
Well, why didn't you say anything?
Ugh, I hate unpleasant conversation.
She really does. Once I mentioned...
Clark! Nothing! I mentioned nothing.
Did you?
Final is such an ambiguous word.
Conceptually, The Cottage seems like it should be a delicious, naughty sex comedy in a spirit of No Coward. Think Present Laughter and Private Lives. And in concept, it very much is similar to Coward's work. It's 1923. We're in an old English cottage, which is meticulously detailed by Paul Tate dePoo III, with the detailed fireplace mantel stage right to the trophy room off stage left. Everything has its place, and nothing is where it is without reason. The drop that acts as the curtain for the show depicts the exterior of the cottage set in the spring, with comically naughty depictions of animals either having sex or courting throughout. Also, for the reasonably eagle-eyed audience members, certain erotic props used in the show are hidden in the image as well. It's a little finders keepers bit of pre-show fun. The play opens with Sylvia, played by Laura Bell Bundy, and Beau, played by Eric McCormick, finishing up their once-a-year affair that they've been having for the past 7 years before returning to their respective spouses. Sylvia has other plans as she announces to Beau that she is leaving her husband for him, which may not be too awful a proposition, except that her husband Clark, played by Alex Moffat, happens to be Beau's brother. On top of that, Beau's wife Marjorie, played by Lily Cooper, is pregnant. Sylvia further explains that she has sent telegrams to both Clark and Marjorie that she and Beau are going to be together now. Well, of course, the play takes a turn when Marjorie and Clark arrive, announcing that they have been having their own affair. Things don't stop there, as Beau was expecting Sylvia to be gone by this point in the show, so he could hook up with his next tryst, Deirdre, played by Dana Steingold, who arrives announcing she has divorced her husband, Richard, played by Nahal Joshi, to be with Beau, and that Richard is likely on his way to kill Beau. All 6 cast members play their roles with farcical glee, diving into secret passageways, falling downstairs, fighting with antlers. It's all very grand and comically posturing. Their excess need for cigarettes and alcohol add to the hysteria. This all so far works for me. The play goes wrong, though, early, as everyone's sexual dalliances are revealed relatively quickly in the first act, and no one seems too bothered by it all. The characters' general acceptance of their affairs kills the conflict, and we're all sitting for the rest of the first act to come as we anticipate what will hopefully be a tension-filled second act when the homicidal Richard arrives, which, if you pay attention to the foreshadowing in a conversation between Sylvia and Deirdre, is going to be a disappointment as well. The narrative could have been far funnier and complex if at least some of the characters' egos are bruised by the affairs that their respective partners are having, and they start to fight with each other in spite of the fact that, for the most part, everyone has what they want. That would be far funnier. Instead, we get a series of sight gags of people whipping out cigarettes and booze from some brilliantly clever hiding places throughout the cottage. I'm usually not a strict beholder of the rule of 3, where a joke loses its humor after being told 3 times, but the cottage goes well beyond 3, with the cigarettes and alcohol being hidden in statues, mantels, books, and various other locations. It starts off as a good sight gag, but wears out its welcome. There are going to be people talking about this, so I might as well address it. Yes, the play does have a gratuitous fart joke in the second act, and yes, it is unnecessary. This is all a shame, as there is a well-intended message about women's independence that is addressed as the play closes, and I like how the play ends, but it gets watered down by cheap humor getting there. The saving grace is the cast. McCormick holds himself with a Kevin Kline sense of farcical decorum, which I love, and Moffat and Steingold are comic gold throughout with their grand physicality. Unfortunately, because the opportunity for character-driven humor is trumped by physical humor, Laura Bell Bundy's performance will likely be overlooked by many or be written off as being a flighty blonde role. She actually carries more of the central theme of the play. It's unfortunate and a wasted opportunity for her to shine. The Cottage isn't terrible, at least not as terrible as some of the other critics have made it out to be. I'm looking at you, Rex Reed. There are some very funny moments, and the premise offers a lot of potential, but the execution is a bit of a disappointment. But I'm only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see The Cottage, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon for your continued support. Every cent you offer is deeply appreciated. If you're not a patron, I'll leave a link in the description to my Patreon page where you can sign up. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Goodspeed Musicals' production of Here You Come Again. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.